India is also very, very big for such products.
Is there a way you want citizens to be involved in this initiative?
I think yes, because the problem is, in India we have inherent huge capacities for recycling, but we're not getting enough raw material. This is the biggest problem. If citizens could really get involved in awareness and collection drives and participate in such things like recycling, be more aware of their responsibilities towards recycling or towards the environment, I guess this could make a big impact.
Mr. Shah, touches upon a point that India Inc., and if I speak on that front, we are struggling with, is setting up infrastructure and then finding that infrastructure is not being utilized because there's the back end that is choked.
Citizens could possibly contribute in the collection system.
Oh, absolutely.
It's an idea that needs to be owned by the community.
Exactly.
The community should claim ownership of the idea. And all efforts need to be made in that direction as well.
I would go to the extent of ensuring that wherever you have an RWA, you also have an youth RWA. Because I think if kids could get involved, they will shame adults into doing the right things. And I think we need to form groups in each community where kids are involved, youth are involved.
A lot of the times we have aware citizens, we have people who are educated who want to contribute, but they just don't know how to do it. So what's that first step? What can a citizen really do to contribute to waste management?
Well, I think there's a whole range of things that need to be done. Firstly, we need to organize a few RWAs, and the ones that do well ought to be recognized. I think they should be awarded. Maybe the Chief Minister or even the Prime Minister calls them up once a year to give them an award, because I think they are really the sort of pioneers in bringing about a change in values and mindsets. And I think we also need to make sure that we provide resources for getting rid of whatever they have segregated, because often what happens is they'll segregate the waste, but you're waiting for somebody to come and clear it, and for 5 days the stuff is just lying around. So I think you really need to deal with it at the level of the system as a whole. Otherwise it's not going to work.
On that note, we're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll talk about strategies and solutions to move ahead and tackle India's solid waste problem. You're watching ET Now. Welcome back to Managing Waste, Today's Imperative, a special discussion on ET Now. We've spoken about the scale of India's solid waste management problem, the lack of policy, the lack of enforcement of policy, and the lack of consumer awareness. Let's talk a little bit about solutions now. Dr. Pachauri, one of the solutions that India has been exploring is that of establishing waste-to-energy plants. Are they a good idea in the Indian context?
Yes, if you can segregate all the organic waste, you can produce energy from it. And as it happens in a large part of our metropolitan areas and towns, the amount of organic waste that's generated is generally much higher than what you have in the developed countries. So I think that's a rich source by which you can produce energy. But again, the issue is, how do you segregate it? How do you move it? How do you make a business case for producing energy from it?
So if these waste-to-energy plants are installed, what happens to the informal sector? Do they get displaced, or can they in fact get better high-value jobs within this system?
I think, first of all, when we're talking about waste-to-energy, we can only talk about waste-to-energy from that waste which cannot be recycled. The informal sector needs to be in control of the waste which can be segregated and can be recycled. I don't think that we should take all our wastes to the waste-to-energy plant. Of course, it's a very good idea to extract energy from such wastes which are not further recyclable or which are contaminated and need more cleaning before recycling. So I think, the informal sector has got still a lot of waste to play around with.
When we're talking of solutions, do we also need to look at the informal sector and sort of, maybe it's time we sort of recognize all of these people who are contributing significantly in managing our waste? Their health is at risk. Do you think, Shabana, we need to take some steps for these people as well?
We absolutely need to take steps for the informal sector because they are exposing themselves to health hazards, and we do not even provide them with simple things like gloves and hats and things like that that they can save themselves from. I also want to state that I work in the slums a lot, and this whole question of illegality of the slums prevents the policymakers from providing any civic amenities or any sanitation. Now, I find it really, really idiotic that their illegal, so-called illegal status prevents them from getting basic things that are necessary for living. You cannot consider that as a reason for denying them civic amenities and sanitation.
Well, the other thing that we need to do is to promote the right kind of research and development. We are carrying out research on degradable plastics. So we are trying to produce plastic material from biodegradable wastes, and we've had a substantial amount of success. But we are only one organization. You really need to accelerate and expand this kind of effort. I also want to emphasize the fact that biofertilizers. Now we've done a lot of work through our biotechnology program in developing biofertilizers. I don't think the government has a clear policy on promoting research and development in this area. However, that can make an enormous difference. It will give us choices by which you can have plastic which can be degraded. Otherwise, it's going to stay, as you yourself said, till the year 2513.
As a recycler, Tushar, what's your step towards solutions?
There are ample solutions. The technology is changing very rapidly. We have solutions to recycle 90% of the products, The only thing is that, the products need to be clean, first of all. So awareness and discipline. In Europe, what has been formed as called the extended producer's responsibility. Now they're extending that responsibility to the consumers. So consumers need to be responsible. They need to understand their responsibility. A soiled paper, like if it's soiled with food, cannot be recycled effectively. Solutions exist only if consumers and the recyclers partner up and they're more aware of their responsibilities.
Right. So, Kandarp, you would agree to that, a more collaborative effort between the government, between NGOs, between India Inc.
Where is the responsibility? Is it the municipal corporations? Is it who say that illegality of slums stops them from even providing basic toilet facilities, or is it the Ministry of Environment and Forests? Is waste central to their agenda? Because that, I think, is not the case. There are too many other things that are happening that are seeming to get higher priority, higher importance. So if you talk about strategies or solutions, I think we can all actively intervene. And as someone representing India Inc., I'd say bring us in, but don't bring us in from a legislative point of view. Bring us in to say what kind of solutions we can collaboratively develop.
What are the kind of best practices that we can pick up from developed nations?
Well, I think the best practices that we need to pick up, for instance, are, if you look at our cities, the number of eating places we have, even street food, there's a lot of organic material that's wasted. If we had a system by which we were to collect that, then you can certainly produce energy from it. And that's why I would say we need to recognize rag pickers. Since they are exposing themselves to health hazards, why don't we have them registered and we give them health insurance? And I think it's also crucially important that we involve all stakeholders. You certainly need public-private partnerships.
Right, we are running out of time, so I'm going to give each one of you final 30 seconds for your final thoughts. That one step which we need to take towards a more sustainable waste management system in India. Starting with you, Tushar.
I think if we have a concept of the polluter pays, that really works well, because if something is going out of your pocket, you'll always take care of what you're doing. So I guess polluters should pay. Exactly, whether it's the consumer or it's an industry.
Right. Kandarp.
It has to become more central to our existence, it has to become a burning platform. We need some of these facts and figures that some of us were talking about to be really highlighted, and I think it has to become central to every agenda. India Inc., whether it's NGOs, whether it's consumers, RWAs, or whether it's ministries, the legislators.
Shabana.
Sensitization of the end user, the consumer. It must start with me. I must be the first catalyst of change.
Dr. Patel.
Well, I would say there are lots of things that need to be done, but the way to start is to involve, inform, and educate the youth. And I think if we were to do that, we're certainly addressing a section of society that will ensure that their future is safeguarded by all of us coming together.
Right. On that note, I'm going to call it a wrap with this very simple fundamental thought that waste management is not an environment issue, it's actually a social issue. Each one of us plays a role in creating waste, so each one of us must play a role in managing it as well. The government, the NGOs, the industry might come out with numerous initiatives to tackle the menace, but the least you and I can do is to adopt the 3 Rs: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.